When you are doing your feedlotting, it's always strategic to have small ruminants like goats and sheep. So when you are feeding your cattle after they feed, after feeding, there's always feed that remains in the feed troughs. And you see what the goats do is they come and they pick those feed remains, and it's very strategic. It saves you on feed costs for your goats. And you see here they're responding quite well. The feed is normally a high value feed we use for pen fattening, and the goats also benefit from that. So it's strategic. You don't want to lose that feed. You can better utilize it by having small ruminants like your goats and sheep, and you realize value out of that. Normally you tend to have a lot of manure from the feedlot pens and so, and it's very strategic to use the manure from the feedlots to actually use them on portions where you can grow your pastures, and you can actually use those pastures for the small ruminants like your goats and sheep. As you see here, the whole portion of the whole of this land is like 4 hectares. Only 4 hectares, it's an entity that runs more than 600 animals at a time or per cycle. But at the same time, there are more than 200 goats and sheep. And these sheep are basically benefiting from, planted pastures that are growing very vegetatively because of manure that's coming from your feedlot. So it's very strategic. You don't need to worry too much about land. When you have lots of manure, identify some portions where you just grow, this your kikuyu, stargrass, a bit of irrigation and a lot of manure that is able to produce enough grazing for your sheep and goats. And it actually forms a very strategic, integrated livestock, cattle, sheep, and goat unit. For those doing feedlotting, it's also important to note that, especially in the context of Zimbabwe, there's a shortage of lamb. There's a shortage of high quality lamb. Why? It's because people mainly focus on doing cattle and so. But you see, we don't have farmers who are specifically producing sheep, targeting to have that high quality lamb. This is meat where you are taking it from sheep that's not too old or that's not too young. And most people, they are not strategic about it because sometimes they see like it's not viable. So, but it can actually be viable if you are intentional about it. All you need is to have a good grazing where your sheep they can graze and quickly gain weight such that they reach a weight that makes economic sense to the market very quickly. Since things like fattening are not quite common with small ruminants, but actually you don't need to be pumping out a lot of money to fattening your sheep or your goats. All you simply need is to have portions where you grow grass that's being fed with manure, a bit of irrigation, and you are able to do wonders from there. It's actually an opportunity for the farmers.